Hey everyone, we have a major winter storm coming into our area starting Sunday night throughout the day Monday. It could bring us anywhere between 4 and 8 inches of snow. This could be the most snow that we have seen in our area in years. Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining us here on the Potomac Local Newscast. I'm Uriah Kaiser, publisher and founder of Potomac Local News, where we are telling you what's happening in your communities between Fredericksburg, Manassas, and Woodbridge. It's great to have you. Please, if you've not already, please like this video. Please subscribe to our channel, and when you do, click that. When you subscribe, you'll get a notification every time we post new content here on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're a fan of our website, PotomacLocalNews.com, if you read us on email, please go there and sign up for our free email newsletter where we are publishing all the time, telling you what's happening where you live, again, in those communities between Fredericksburg, Manassas, and Woodbridge. Well, folks, the governor has issued a state of emergency for Virginia, which means that he's coordinating the state agencies in advance of what looks like a major winter storm that is going to include snow, again, 4 to 8 inches, maybe more in some areas, and possibly some freezing rain and a middle changeover from sleet to freezing rain at some point on Monday during the middle of the storm before forecasters say it will change back over to snow before it moves out of here on Tuesday. And so, with all of that, we're the timing of the storm looks like it's starting late Sunday afternoon. Snow, sleet, freezing rain are expected to affect the entire region. This one's interesting because the Weather Service is telling us that if the storm tracks to the north, we can see mixed precipitation in our area, the Fredericksburg, Woodbridge, Manassas area, with more ice. If it hugs to the south, then we're definitely going to see more snow here in our area, and Maryland to our north will see less snow, obviously. Again, 4 to 8, and maybe 8 to 12 in some localized areas is what the National Weather Service is telling us. And so, what all of us are wondering is, how is this going to affect Monday's commute? Right? This is a time where we're getting out of the Christmas, New Year holiday. Monday, being the January 6th, everyone was planning to get back to work, back to school. And this storm obviously throwing a wrench into those plans. That's why we're going to talk today to Kelly Hannon. She's with the Virginia Department of Transportation in the Fredericksburg District, and she's going to bring us up to date on how VDOT is planning to treat the roads and make sure that everybody stays safe and get where they're going before the storm and after the storm. Kelly, thanks for coming on with us here on Potomac Local to talk about what looks like some of the biggest snow we're going to have seen in years. They're talking 4 to 12 inches, depending upon where this storm impacts us the most. And of course, we all remember back just 3 short years ago where an unusually strong snowstorm came in after the new year and shut down a portion of Interstate 95 between Dumfries down near Kings Dominion. So a lot of people are wondering how this is going to affect their commute on Monday. What was supposed to be a back to school after the New Year Christmas holiday. We're just getting back into the swing of things. And here we go. We're preparing for a major snowstorm.
Well, thanks, Uriah. But yes, this is going to be a significant winter storm. So we have been preparing really throughout the week, getting crews, materials, staff ready to go. So when the storm arrives on Sunday, we have everyone in place ready to roll out. So I think the most important thing, certainly we're talking on Saturday, January 4th. I think the most important message for today I'd want to share with people is you really do need to get to your destination before this storm arrives in Virginia on Sunday. So we're asking people whether you're traveling through Virginia, coming back home from a trip, or just out running errands, please finish up all personal preparations today, so that you are not out on the road when the storm arrives on Sunday. But some things that we're doing at VDOT to prepare, we're going to have more than 900 pieces of equipment for this event. That is our highest level, so we're really mobilizing at our maximum amount, bringing in all of our crews and equipment for this storm, given the severity. Um, we have pre-treated Interstate 95 and our primary roads. We're finishing that work up today on Saturday. So that means that tanker trucks have sprayed a mix of water and salt, a brine, on the pavement that helps prevent ice from bonding to the road surface. That really helps our crews. Once the storm's underway, we can get plows underneath that ice and help to clear the roads. Other things that we're doing, certainly we're running pre-storm messages on the message boards along I-95. We're working with our neighboring states, letting people know winter weather is expected Sunday. Again, plan ahead, plan your travel around this storm. Um, we're doing things like we're going to be staging towing crews along the interstate and Route 1 in the Fredericksburg area so that if we do have incidents, we already have that equipment in place and staged to help clear incidents if they do develop. But again, I would really emphasize, I think, it is really important for people to take the weather and the possibility for hazardous travel conditions seriously once the snow begins to fall and to remain off the roads.
Yeah, we've got that state of emergency issued by Governor Glenn Youngkin, who is coordinating all the state agencies, yours included, at the Virginia Department of Transportation. All hands on deck as this storm comes in. And I think one thing that we learned 3 years ago in 2022 is that when one thing happens when during if you're on the road, as you said, get your stuff done early, get home, stay off the roads. But if you're on the roads when the storm is occurring, when the snow's coming down, and I think we had some jackknife tractor trailers on 95 and one right after another. It was just they were horrible conditions, very poor conditions during that snowstorm, and it just became impossible to get a crew out there to get all of those tractor trailers off the roadway, and suddenly a lot of people who were just I guess thought, oh, don't worry, no matter what happens, I'll still be able to get where I'm going. The VDOT's got me, or the government's got me, or there's just no way the road's ever going to shut down. They learned a lesson that day. I think we all did. And so can you talk about how sometimes can become treacherous, even for the plow crews, even for the as you said, you're going to have people out there, tow truck drivers, stage ready to go. But if it gets really bad, I don't imagine you want to be out there at all.
I mean, anytime snow and ice is on the road surface, it is a hazardous situation. So we definitely strongly again urge people not to travel during the storm. Um, we will again certainly crashes may occur. We are going to have again our full mobilization. All of our pieces of equipment are going to be out, anticipating the most severe weather we might get with the storm. Again, because it is more difficult to bring additional resources in once a storm has started. So that is why we're anticipating the worst possible forecasted weather we could get. We're going to have those resources in place. But it does, certainly by staying home, not only is that critical for your safety, that does allow our emergency responders, our plow trains to do their work. They can be most effective when they have the, space to work, space to get the snow off the road. And with this storm in particular, we may be getting very heavy periods of snow. We're getting about an inch an hour. And so we're going to have to make repeated passes on the interstate, on primary roads like Route 1, just to keep them even passable for people who may have to get through, such as our emergency responders. So again, that's really why we're asking. We know everyone has important commitments, things they need to do, but really for your safety, for the safety of everyone else on the road, we do ask once the storm starts, for people not to be traveling.
And as we look at the forecast, and we can see this thing looks like it will start as snow, and then at some point on Monday we may have some warm air come up from the south, the Gulf of Mexico, and turn some of that snow into maybe some sleet or some freezing rain. And I imagine, and then after the freeze, after that, it could turn right back into snow before it exits the area late Monday, maybe early Tuesday. And so when you're dealing with those differing types of winter precipitation, how do your road crews account for that? And how much more difficult does the changing precipitation type make it to clear those more difficult to clear those roads?
Well, we have both sand and salt, so salt can help. You know, trying to think. Sand and salt both help us certainly in combating kind of winter weather, but certainly, icy conditions, we'll be prepared to, we can put down sand, which helps with traction with icing, but due to the colder temperatures, we're expecting this to be a really cold week. So we won't necessarily get the advantage of any melting even after the storm ends Tuesday morning. I think we are going to see very slick conditions in the mornings, overnight hours. We're going to continue to have crews that are going to need to continue treating this even after the storm has ended. So I
Yeah, and
think
I
this is
think you
definitely,
hit on it there. I think the cold
yeah,
is the story, while the snow and the storm may be what's getting attention right now and all the headlines. I think afterward, as you just said, it's going to be frigidly cold throughout this coming week and early into next week. And with very little melting going on, whatever we get, however much we get, it's going to hang around. And at some point, I imagine VDOT starts to get phone calls and emails and very sometimes friendly, maybe unfriendly text messages saying, "Hey, when are you going to come and clear my street?" What's so how can people track, as we get, day 2, day 3, day 4, away from the storm after it exits, and people start wondering, well, when is my street going to be plowed or treated? Get the snow out so I can get back out of my driveway. How can people find that information?
absolutely. So a couple of different things I can recommend. First, just speaking broadly, we already talked about it a little bit, but the interstate and our primary roads are going to be our main focus. So we're going to be repeatedly plowing those during the storm while the snow is still falling, but you know, that may just be, people may not see bare pavement. It may just be we're going to have to continually hit those roads like Route 1, Courthouse Road, 17, your Route 610 in Stafford, repeatedly just to keep them even, passable for emergency responders. So once the storm stops, we'll go back to those roads and we're going to work hard to improve the condition in those roads, but it may take us some time to get into subdivisions and neighborhoods. So once the primary roads are clear, roads numbered, 600 and below, subdivision streets really are going to follow after that as secondary roads. We have to keep the path open to hospitals, to, major employment centers, government centers, public safety buildings. So that's really where we're going to focus first. Um, you know, we will get to everyone. We have not forgotten you. We will get to every state maintained road, but it may take us some time with this event, just depending on the severity and depending on the temperatures. We do have a website, VDOT Plows. It is plows.vdot.virginia, spelled out, .gov. That's plows.vdot.virginia.gov. And you can enter once we have 2 inches of snow accumulated on the ground or more. You can plug your address in there and you can see the status of your neighborhood, whether it has not yet started, whether it's underway, or whether it's completed. So the advice I usually give people is if you put your address in and it says it's completed and you're looking out at your street and it is not plowed, we definitely want to know about that. So we just would ask, I think, again, even in advance of the storm, for a little bit of patience, since this is going to be a storm. It sounds like may go from Sunday night until Tuesday morning. So we may really not be able to make progress on some of our main roads even until Tuesday once the storm has stopped. So, and again, just as people who may be up early, out late, continuing the days after the storm, there may be slick conditions overnight. We're going to be out treating for that. We'll be monitoring, continuing to work as long as the weather demands it. But it is, I think, something people are going to need to think about for their travel for this entire upcoming week.
So to recap, get your preparations done now in the
Yes.
hours before the storm. Stay home when it starts storming. You see that winter precipitation come down. Stay off the roads. And once it moves out of here, we've got the cold to deal with, and it may take crews a little while to get out to where you are, but as you said, you will get to everyone on those state maintained roads to clear those roads. So Kelly Hannon with the Fredericksburg Region Virginia Department of Transportation, thank you so much for coming on Potomac Local News and talking to us about what will be a very busy week, undoubtedly, for you and your crew there at VDOT.
Thank you, Uriah. We appreciate it.